and assure you that British School Jakarta is the best option for your child to start their primary education. And as stated in the rundown, there will be presentation, testimonial, school tour, and Q&A session that will give you insight on how British School Jakarta paved the way for your child academic excellence and well-being. So, without further ado, let me introduce British School Jakarta Principal Mr. David Butcher for the introduction.
Many thanks, Fira, and a very warm welcome and a very happy Saturday to everybody who's joined this virtual open house today. I hope that all your families are in good health and coming out of this this extraordinary time. So we best wishes to everybody on the call. My name is David Butcher. I'm the principal of BSJ. It's my absolute honour to present this virtual open house for the primary school this morning. The word virtual is in there, and the word virtual has been with us for many months now. And whilst we would have liked to have done this actually on our wonderful campus, the skills and the agility that we've created over the last 15 months really will come to the fore today as we take you through the next 90 minutes about what the BSJ primary school is and how the learning and teaching and the whole holistic side of our educational program will shine through in pixels. So that's very important. We do really appreciate your time to come and join us today and to listen to what we've been doing at the school and how it is really a school for today and tomorrow. Certainly over the last 15 months, we have reflected and collaborated and asked ourselves the big questions about what is education going to be like? How do we come out of it? And how's it going to fit for any family that wants to join our school so that we can give an enriched experience that really does go beyond the classroom. As I was preparing for this, my mind cast back to March 2020, and it was a sort of moment in the history of the school where we knew that we were going to have to switch to online learning, and our preparation and planning was leading to that. And I remember getting a message to go to the primary sports hall, and in there we had about 150 parents all working on their iPads with just to make sure that they understood how we were going to switch to online learning. And that was a great moment because that for me demonstrated the collaboration and the way that we could use the technology that we had in the school so that we could go into this switch. We're still in a hybrid situation. We were very, very grateful to the Ministry of Education and Culture in Banten and Tangerang Selatan, along with the Ministry of Health, after 10 inspections where we were deemed beyond ready to actually have the students back on campus. And having them back on campus is just a boost to everybody. Schools without children is hollow. And if you go down and actually look at the primary school, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, secondary teachers, myself, if you're having a day that is a little bit difficult, if you go down to primary, you get that buzz and that excitement of the learning and the care and the camaraderie that goes on between the staff and the students, all of which is massively important to what we want to do as a school. I've worked in 7 countries, and without a shadow of a doubt, what I feel about the BSJ primary is that the marriage of the happiness and the learning is unparalleled in terms of the sequential stepping from year 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7 in that transition to secondary school. And what you're going to be taken through today, you'll see a learning program that is refined and modified all the time. But most of all, it is genuine and authentic. What we say is what we do. So I'm going to now hand over to Mr. Shane Nathan, who's the head of primary, who's going to introduce himself, what we do at the school, and then into his excellent primary leadership team. My sincere thanks to the admissions team and the commercial enterprise department for getting this all together today. It's a busy time at the end of the academic year, but nothing's more important than actually saying what we are to people so that you understand. We know that this is the time of year where people are making choices, and here at BSJ, you're going to be on a lovely flow through what happens on our school on a daily basis. So welcome and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Butcher, and thank you for those kind words about primary. A very warm welcome, parents. Lovely to have you online with us, whether you're based in Jakarta or anywhere in the world. Just a quick update that as we move through the presentation, you will no doubt have questions. Please feel free to put them into the chat bar. And if it's an academic question, one of my team will get back to you, one of the primary leadership team. And if it's to do with admissions or an admin question, then one of my admin colleagues will update you. And I know that several parents have already pre-populated the Google form with some questions, and we will cover those as we go through the presentation. So we have quite a lot to get through. So without further ado, let's move on to our mission statement as is: inspire, challenge and nurture for excellence. This is not just for students, this is for staff, this is for our community as well. We want excellence, challenge and nurturing in everything we do. We run extensive workshops for our parents, we run professional development training for our staff, and obviously world-class learning and progress rates for our students, as well as a very extensive well-being program where we focus on the students' well-being and whether they are flourishing or not and how we can support them. So, primary leadership team, my colleagues here. On today's presentation, there is myself, Shane Nathan. I've been head of primary here for 10 years, and it's the longest I've stayed anywhere. And I think there's a reason for that. And the reason is the school, as well as Jakarta in Indonesia. It's a fantastic school, and I cannot think of anywhere else I'd rather work. We are constantly innovating and moving forward. So every year we have new challenges, and we thrive on those challenges. Ian Hope, Deputy Head of Primary, is on this presentation, as well as Larissa Green. She works in several roles as Assistant Head of Primary. She oversees our parents as partners, all communication with parents, as well as overseeing Year 5 and 6. Laura Crossland's also on the call, once again, Assistant Head Teacher, Head of Primary. She focuses on KG Year 1 and Year 2, so our kindergarten Year 1 and Year 2 students, as well as well-being. We take that very, very importantly. Carl looks after Year 3 and 4 and also the academic and assessment reporting. Kieran looks after whole school innovation and learning tech. Unfortunately, they're not with us this morning, but they have had an input into our presentation. Okay, so I'm not going to read everything on the slides, and I think the large boxes at the top give you a flavour of what we are. We do provide extensive support for English as an additional language. We had several questions at the Kindy meeting this morning about whether we can accept children without English. We can, and we have extensive programs for those students, and we will update those parents if they would like to know more about that. We also run some individual needs support for mild, moderate needs. We have staff who are qualified in dyslexia, dyscalculia, who can work with children. Obviously, we don't have an educational psychologist in school. There are several in Jakarta, and parents often get a psychologist report in their home country if they need to, which we can then implement. We're very fortunate to have a highly trained group of learning support assistants who work in every class and every year group, moving up from Kindy through to Year 6. In Year 5 and 6, there's not one per class, but we have several allocated to the year group, and they work as needed with the students. Many of them are teachers in their own right within the Indonesian system, and they work with us because they value what we do and the pedagogy that we use. We also have fully qualified specialist teachers for our sports program, and that's swimming, PE, dance, as well as music, drama and languages. Bahasa's taught throughout the school as per Indonesian regulations, and we also then offer Mandarin, French and Spanish from Year 3 through to secondary. Okay, core curriculum at BSJ, just to give you a flavour of that. A kindergarten is based on the earliest foundation stage from the United Kingdom. But as I mentioned at the presentation this morning, we adapt it and improve it with elements from other curriculums, such as the New Zealand Early Years Programme, Reggio Emilia from Italy, and some aspects of Montessori, particularly in terms of self-care skills and children looking after their belongings and the equipment that they use. For maths and English, we base that on the UK national curriculum, which is adapted and improved as necessary. So we use our own materials to support that, and the teachers work very hard in terms of their planning. The international primary curriculum covers the geography, history, science, and we do that through an inquiry-based topic approach, but with not rigid, but with clearly focused objectives that we would like to cover with the students. And we have what we call a roadmap going from year 1 to year 6 to ensure that the children get a good balance of their science, their history, their geography, and of course, as well as the maths and English, which is taught every day to all students. There is a very clear link to secondary, so we have a seamless transfer, which we start looking from year 5, 6, so when they move into year 7 in secondary, they are very well prepared for that. So a little bit more about the specialist curriculum. You can see the different areas on there. The personal, social, health, economic, education, well-being, flourishing is extremely important for us, particularly in these times of the pandemic, when it's something that's been alien to all of us. We're social creatures, and to work online at home or with 1 or 2 other people isn't what we're designed for, and it's certainly not what we came into teaching for. So we recognise that different students, different adults react in different ways, and we're here to support them for that. After school activities, we also have philosophy for children, which is about debating key points, listening, speaking, and actually understanding, and there can be different viewpoints to yours, but they're equally valid. Enrichments for the year 3 to 6, which are an opportunity for students to have some say in a couple of lessons a week about what they would like to do. The music, drama, physical education, languages as mentioned, and then obviously Indonesian language and culture. And we run 2 strands in that. We have Indonesian language for all students, and they are put into different groups depending on native English speakers or new to the language, native Bahasa speakers or new to the language. And then culture for children who are expatriates in Indonesia, it's very important they have an understanding of the situation they're based in. And then we obviously have the PPKN and religious education syllabus for Indonesian nationals. In terms of the Indonesian curriculum, a little bit more about it there. The students have opportunities to take any examinations in those programs as they move through the school. It is compulsory for Indonesian students, and we do have to report on that to the education authorities. But we feel it's very important that we offer that at a very good level. And a couple of photos there from where the students have Indonesian in the bottom with Sumatran drumming as an example of looking at the culture and how we can use that within our classes as well. Okay, moving on to school uniform, I'm going to pass over to Larissa, who's going to just talk you through the next couple of slides.
Good morning, everybody. Please allow me to introduce you to our wonderful school uniform here at BSJ. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see some kindergarten students who are wearing their red cotton uniforms. In the middle, we can see the PE kits that we have, and each of those colours represents the 4 houses that we have here at BSJ. On the right-hand side is our primary batik uniform, worn by students from year 1 to year 6. This is a special batik designed purely for our school. The children are also encouraged to wear comfortable black shoes and either white or black socks. Now let me talk to you about the school day. Everyone begins a school day at 7:50 a.m. with registration and a check-in. The children then take part in their lessons. There is also a snack time and a lunch time before our younger students finishing at 1:45 p.m. and our older students finishing at 2:45 p.m. There's also options for after-school activities, a range of different activities that children can partake in if they would like to.
Okay, nice to see you, parents. Laura Crossland. As Mr. Nathan said earlier, I look after kindergarten and Key Stage 1. And like Mr. Butcher said, he said when he is feeling a bit low or grumpy, then he would go into the primary school because it's the place to be where it's buzzing with energy. And I would say kindergarten is my favourite place to go, because when I go in, the children and being able to walk around and see the play and the interactions is a wonderful thing to see. So kindergarten is for children from 3 to 5 years old. We have kindergarten 1 for 3 and 4 years old, and kindergarten 2 for 4 and 5 years old. And we're really lucky to have a wonderful campus, but within the campus we have a kindergarten section, and it has indoor and outdoor facilities that the children can freely roam in, and all are adequately supervised by our kindergarten teachers and our kindergarten teaching assistants. And the children are able to learn through interacting with the environment as well as their peers and teachers. We have a teacher-led and student-led learning sessions. The teacher-led may be that the children are sitting on the carpet listening and having a phonics lesson, for instance, or it might be that they're working with an adult in a small group or one-on-one. We also have student-led learning, and that's when the children are exploring the kindergarten environment and learning through the play and interaction that they have with others. Our kindergarten curriculum follows the early years foundation stage curriculum from the UK, and it covers 7 areas of learning that you can see here on the left-hand side of your screen. In kindergarten 1, we study physical education, communication and language, and personal, social and emotional, because we believe they're the things that we need to focus on when children first enter a school environment, learning how to interact with others, learning how to move themselves around a setting, and learning how to be away from their families and from their home setting and be in a school setting. Then in K2, we introduce the other 4 areas, which is mathematics, literacy, understanding the world, which incorporates science and geography and history, and expressive arts and design. I'm going to pass over now to one of our primary curriculum teachers to offer more information.
Hello, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the primary curriculum. Curriculum oversight is part of my role as well, and once children leave kindergarten and they move on to years 1 to 6, we flow that early years curriculum into the primary curriculum. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those parts. Okay, first of all, the prime medium for delivery of lessons at the school is English. We do value mother tongues and home languages. They are incredibly important for supporting language development in English as well. But we have a very robust program for our English. It is based on best practice from the UK, but also, as Mr. Nathan said, from other curriculum areas that we draw. We focus on the different strands. The order really is more speaking and listening first. We've got to get those language aspects, if you like, embedded first, so that the speaking and listening ability can lead into reading, can lead into writing. In writing, we have our handwriting program and also our phonics program for our younger children that flows into our spelling program as they get older through to the year 3 onwards. For one of our key areas of the curriculum that we focus on to support EAL, or English as Additional Learners, is the Talk for Writing program. Now, this is a program that's a very structured program. It takes children through a very closely modeled version of oracy in terms of language development. It then leads on to reading and into writing. And the children move from a structured approach to experiment and then to invent based on the models that they've been shown and demonstrated and learned. So it's a very good program for supporting our EAL, or English as Additional Language Learners. Okay, for mathematics, again, one of our most important areas, and we have a very strong mathematics program and lots of children are doing incredibly well. We've had children who are succeeding in international competitions. You can see the picture here where our Fabicia team, they went to compete They compete in China and different countries. This one I think was in Vietnam. And we have a very strong maths program through the school. It's taught through what we call strands, and those strands are number being one of the biggest and sometimes thought to be the most important, although we actually think the most important is the reasoning and problem solving strand. But there's measures, geometry, statistics as the other strands we teach through there. We do have an emphasis on mastery of mathematics. So it's not just about learning things and at a shallow level, if you like. We try and get deep and embedded. So speed and efficiency is important in terms of knowing these things, but the ability to reason, to choose efficient strategies, to explain those strategies orally and use the correct mathematical language is also really important, and how it links to real life. The only reason we study maths is to solve problems in life, and that's one of our key focuses. Okay, I think I'm passing on to Miss Green now to talk to you about the International Primary Curriculum.
That's right, Mr. Hope. The International Primary Curriculum offers an integrated approach to learning. Each of the academic strands you can see here listed are taught through an overarching topic. A great example of this would be the Rainforest unit, which is taught in Year 4. The children are able to look at the biodiversity of the rainforest through science lessons. They look at where rainforests are around the world through geography. They look at traditional rainforest art. They design and make a rainforest smoothie. And they also look at the impact our society has had on the rainforest, both in terms of the land use and the wildlife. And also we have a specific look at the rainforest here in our host country, Indonesia. And one of our trips takes children to see some of the beautiful plants and animals that are here in Indonesian rainforests. We also offer a languages and culture program here at BSJ. All of the children from years 1 to 6 take part in weekly Bahasa Indonesia lessons. These are taught by primary specialist teachers and are lots of fun and get them really involved in learning that Indonesian language. From Year 3, in addition to Bahasa Indonesia, children are exposed to 3 other languages: French, Mandarin, and Spanish. They have tasters of each of these languages, and then they make a choice which they will follow through from Year 4 to Year 6. Alongside this, our Indonesian students also take part in PPKN lessons and religious studies for the religion that they follow.
Okay, thank you very much, Larissa. We will now move on to a quick overview of assessment and reporting. Something that's very important, and obviously we do need to keep parents updated as to how your children are progressing. We have many opportunities throughout the year, and this is just an example of some of the records that we would keep in terms of looking at the learner profile. Assessment is through ongoing observation, skill-based development, also internal assessments and external standardised assessments. We think they are very important to give a benchmark so we can look at what other schools are doing in the world and to ensure that we're setting the highest possible standards for our students. There is a written report, there's parent-teacher meetings, there's student-led reflections where students take you through the work that they have been doing and what they are proud of. And we also have Firefly, which is our online portal, which has lots of information on the curriculum for all parents to access once you are a member of our community. Okay, just a quick summary of our standardised assessment. Just a quick explanation that on the left-hand side, the orangey pink is for maths, and on the right-hand side, the light blue is for reading. And it looks at the BSJ score, the United Kingdom score, and international averages. And this is based on an internationally recognised standardised assessment that children take at the end of the academic year. And you can see the progress from 2015 through to the current year in terms of how attainment has risen, and in maths and reading, and how it compares. The standardised score in UK would be 100, and the international average, as you can see, quite a bit lower than ours, and slightly over the UK. We are very proud of this work, but obviously it isn't just about assessments, it's about the well-being as well of those students. But I think that gives you a flavour that you can be assured that if your children come to our school, they're going to get the best possible academic input as well as all the other areas that we value. This value-added result looks at children we've tracked from year 3, 7-year-olds through to 11-year-olds in year 6. So the children who have been with us for about 4 years, and you can see there the value added, the red line in terms of what the students have gained, and that identifies the progress, the higher progress and attainment they have reached. And at the bottom, something that we value, the longer students stay with us, the better they do, over and above normal progress expectations. Now, moving on to innovation and learning technology, obviously it was a learning curve and steep for some of us in terms of when we transitioned to the online learning back last March. We had made plans for it, but when the reality hit on a Friday night at 9 o'clock, we had the message that we needed to transition to it. We hosted a parent meeting on the Sunday and explained how it would work. We do provide iPads. It is actually from kindergarten to year 6 now, and the iPads have pre-installed apps on, managed by the school, so we know they're secure, to enable the children to fully access the online learning through our Google Suite, Google Meet. We have a digital literacy curriculum and a digital citizenship curriculum, and we share that with parents as well as our students. There's student strands, parent strands, and teacher strands. And one of the really useful ones for parents is that it outlines apps that have been checked and are safe for students to use at home, and we've found parents find that very useful. We have a specialist learning technology team who support the students, support the teachers, who look after hardware and the software and training for us and how we can develop. We try to integrate technology where possible, and so we use it to enhance what we do and to improve it, or for us to do things that you could not do without it. And then the creativity aspect is something we value very much in terms of how we manage that. So we do have very good Wi-Fi in school, and we are a recognised leader of learning technology in Indonesia through our Common Sense Media, Common Sense Education qualifications, and through Apple qualified teachers, with all of the primary teachers now at that level after undergoing training in that field. Okay, I'm going to pass on to Laura again, because this is her area. We're all interested in it, obviously, and we all support it, but Laura leads the pastoral care at BSJ.
Thanks, Shane. Primary pastoral care is student well-being, and I like to think of pastoral care as making sure that children are happy, healthy and safe in school. And what's great about BSJ is that we have a really strong primary well-being team, a team of staff that work together to make sure that children are happy in school, that they're comfortable, and that they develop strong, firm relationships with their peers and with their teachers. We're lucky enough to have a school counsellor designated to primary students alone. The school counsellor works with children that might have particular challenges, interacting with their friends, for instance, or if they go through a bereavement. These are opportunities where the counsellor will check in with the student and perhaps initiate regular sessions. We also have student services. Student services is a team of staff, of teachers that are working with children with individual needs. So if your child is diagnosed or needs some additional support, then they can be supported by the individual needs teachers. And also the English as a second language teacher department. So they're teachers that work with children that aren't so familiar with the English language. And the primary wellbeing team meets on a weekly basis, twice a week sometimes, depending on the needs of our students. And we look at all the children that have been brought to our attention that we need to think about how we can support them as best we can to feel comfortable in school. We also have a house system, which I think Larissa and Shane may have mentioned earlier. So a house system is very traditional in a British school, but each child is allocated a team, a house. So the 4 teams are the 4 volcanoes that we've chosen from Indonesia. And they're assigned this house to be in from kindergarten and all the way through primary school and secondary school. And there's so many competitions that happen throughout the course of the year where they're able to earn house points. And we're just coming up to the end of the year now, when we will shortly announce the winning house of the year, which receives great excitement from the students. Personally, I'm Krakatoa, so I'm always trying to promote Krakatoa students to take part as best they can in competition. And we also have student leadership. It's really important that we involve the students with how our school moves forward and develops. The children are the ones receiving the education and attending school every day, and they have plenty to say on it. So we're happy and welcome any sort of comments that the children have, any ideas that they have, or any interests that they would like to see put into the primary school curriculum. And I think if we go on to the next slide, we can see some examples of our student leadership. So we have many. We have student council, first of all, and they're the children that you can see at the top and on the right-hand side. And they have student council caps to show how important they are. They are elected by their class. So all children that want to be a student councillor present to their class, explaining why they think they would be in the role and why they would do a good job. The children then vote, and we have a student councillor in place for 1 term. Each class then has a different person for student council position every term. So there's 3 opportunities in the year where children can put themselves forward, and we do encourage the best possible. We also have our house captains there at the bottom left-hand side. They lead the different houses and promote competitions, and lots of enthusiasm from the students with regards to their house. In addition to that, we have plenty more. We have eco-warriors looking after the environment and how we can make our school an environment-friendly school. We have food committee who assess the foods that were served in school and think about the foods that they would like to see, as well as the health aspects of the food. We have tech coaches who are purposely trained in additional tech aspects, and they go around and support students, they support teachers, and sometimes they support with presentations that we do to outsiders as well. Here we've got a slide on the BSJ learner profile. This is used throughout all of BSJ, from kindergarten right up to IB. So this is an IB directed program with 10 different skills here that we would like to encourage in all of our students at British School Jakarta. Not just our students, we actually encourage these skills in everybody in our campus, our parents and our teachers as well. So each of these different words have an animal attached to them. The children know which ones they are. The animals were chosen. For instance, we have a spider for reflective, and the reason for that was that the webs get broken, and then the spiders have to think very carefully about how to fix that web, and they have to reflect on the work that they've done. So the children are very familiar with this, and they strive to try and show and demonstrate these skills during their time in school, as well as their time outside of school. You might be thinking, well, when my child comes to British School Jakarta, how will they settle in? We know that it can be quite intimidating to come to a new school and to change countries, and it can be a challenge. So we try and do our best to introduce and welcome new students. And part of that process is that they have a welcome lunch. So within the first week, we meet with all of the children that are new, and we talk to them about how they've settled in and what they've enjoyed. And also that gives us an opportunity to speak to any children or recognise any children that we think might be struggling. We have a buddy system where every single child that's new is assigned a friend, a buddy, in their class that they can communicate with. If their English is a second language, they might be given 2 buddies, one of which can be the same language as them so that they can communicate if the English language is not very strong. And then also an English-speaking child to help develop that and to help introduce them to other friends. When the school's open, we offer school tours to students because we do have a very big campus, and the children need tours so that they know where to go to access the different parts of our school. We also have the pastoral team checking in with children to make sure that they're doing well, and the teachers are doing the same. Within the first week of you starting at the school, you will be offered a meeting with your class teacher to have a little bit of feedback about how your child settled in, and also a really good opportunity for you to speak to the teacher and ask any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Laura. And I would just like to add that I always look forward to the welcome lunches for our new students. It's a great time for us to meet them as members of the leadership team as well. Okay, just moving on to BSJ services. We do have music tuition available from year 3 to 6 in a whole range of instruments. And we do have a dedicated team of 3 careers and university counsellors based in secondary, and that may be a way off for some of you, but I know parents are very conscious about the final destination of their children, where they would be going, whether that's the US, United Kingdom, Korea, Singapore, Europe, Australia, wherever. They work very, very closely with the students and with the families to ensure that the children have the best fit university for them. And they've had a fantastic record this year of placements in top universities throughout the world. We have a fully equipped medical centre with a school doctor based on campus every day, and a whole team of school nurses who are here from the very first activities in the morning, which is swimming from about 5:30, through to any extracurricular activities and sports, which could be going on to 5 or 6 p.m. We always have nurses here to ensure the physical well-being of the students. We have a collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. We actually welcomed Peter Senge from there, world-class academic, who worked with us on compassionate systems learning as part of the programme on well-being, on flourishing, and making sure students are equipped to move forward in quite extraordinary times that we're in. We also work with another group from England, 8 Billion Ideas, which is led by David Harkin. They work with students from primary through to secondary on looking at entrepreneurship and developing those skills. And our youngest students really get that and want to work on their own projects, and it's been fantastic to see. In normal times, not the COVID times we have now, we do have catering available on site, hot food and sandwiches pre-packed that children can choose. Within our younger ones, we take it to a dedicated eating area for them. For our older ones, year 3 to 6, they have a choice of outlets that they can go to, all fully supervised by staff whilst the children are eating. In terms of transport, we have a contract with Bluebird buses who run a door-to-door service. Buses are fully GPS tracked from school to home and home to school. They are waiting to go. They have the programs and protocols in place. All of their drivers and chaperones have been fully vaccinated, and we're hoping that will be able to start again in August. And then obviously a whole range of after school activities. It's been somewhat limited during the pandemic. We've had some going on, but obviously we have a fantastic campus with the theatre and the sports, drama, everything else. And so we have a whole range of things going on. There's an extensive list, but it changes termly. And the idea of that is that students can try a whole range of different things. Okay, just moving on, just a quick overview of some of the university destinations the last couple of years we've had students go to. That's just a snapshot. There are many more. And what the key thing for us is that the students are getting best fit. They're getting the university that's going to develop them and that they will get something from as they move forward. So just a snapshot, and we probably need to add a second slide because there's been so many top class universities that those students are going to. And the next slide shows you a clip of our medical centre. It's more like a mini hospital in some ways, and isolation unit, and equipped for looking after children to ensure that they feel safe and secure until parents can pick them up. And we do have a school ambulance as well if we do need to transport anyone to the local hospital for an x-ray. And obviously we would always let parents know that's happening and meet parents there, or they can come into school if they live close by. Okay, next slide I'm going to pass to Ian, who is our designated child protection officer in primary, or one of them.
Hello. Yeah, in terms of part of my role is to be the designated person for child protection in the primary school. We have one in secondary and we have a strategic lead, but all of our leadership team are trained to be child protection officers as we take it really seriously at the school. Safeguarding is the umbrella, if you like, within child protection as part of that. It is the most important aspect of what we do, which is to make sure that the children who are put in our care are kept safe. We do that right from the very beginning of recruiting staff. So upon recruitment of staff, we do detailed police checks and background checks, CV checks as well, to make sure that the staff who are going to be working with your children are safe to work with children. That includes all staff that we have, whether they're teaching staff, support staff, security staff. We do that for everybody. We also have regular training, so every staff member, again, no matter whether they're teaching or non-teaching, will undergo child protection training. We train our staff to a high level. We have got international training that we link to as well. We also will offer training to all of our community. So drivers, maids, parents, anybody, we will offer that in different languages. We have a very strong child protection officer who's fluent Bahasa, who will be able to deliver that to any of our community that need that, and we translate into Korean and Japanese as well as part of that. It is also part of our process with the children. We educate the children about how to keep themselves safe, what they should and shouldn't do, what they should expect, and we do that for online as well. And we have a full team of child protection officers ready to support if things happen. We do have a saying that says, basically, doing nothing is not an option. So we expect anybody who thinks there's something that might be an issue to raise that with us. We'll treat it sensitively and confidentially, and we'll follow up on that. It might be nothing, but it might not. And it might be the little detail that we need to help support a certain child. So we do take it seriously. And if you have any concerns about those things as part of our community, we will, of course, expect you to get in touch, and we will be expected to respond. So safeguarding is very important to us at the school. I think I'm handing back to Miss Crossley.
Thank you, Ian. I talked to you earlier about student well-being and making sure that children are happy, healthy and safe. I'm just going to share some information with you now with how we monitor whether children are feeling happy, healthy and safe. Every year, we ask the children to complete an online student well-being questionnaire, and it asks them lots of questions about how they're feeling. It asks them to describe themselves. It asks them how happy they are in school, as well as how happy they are in every lesson. It gives us really interesting data to then think about how we can change anything that the children are unhappy with. They're able to tell us about how happy they are on the playground and where's their favourite place to play. We've used that information to think about what areas of the playground we need to improve and what areas of the playground the children really enjoy, and to invest further in those areas. We're also able to offer the children the opportunity to write anything that they want at the end, whether it's a message to their teacher or to someone else in school. And sometimes through doing this, we are able to recognise that some children may be unhappy or be challenged by certain things. And this is an opportunity for us to look at that information and to go and speak to those individuals, to offer them help and support. You can see some beautiful comments down at the bottom there that come from students. The majority of our students are very happy in school, and they write some lovely comments to their class teachers and to other people who care for them in school. I think I'm going to hand over to Mr. Nathan now, who's going to share our favourite bit of data from this student wellbeing questionnaire.
Thank you very much, Laura. Yes, when we asked the students how happy they were, and I would add that the questionnaire is bespoke to our school. Laura's developed it with students, so it is very much focused on our students. And 99% responded positively that they were very happy. We're disappointed because we want it to be 100%. But I think we have to acknowledge that some students are unhappy at certain times, and it could be because their favourite pet died that week, as essential as that, or their best friend is leaving school, or in the pandemic because they're missing their friends. But we follow up individually with every student if they express any sentiment regarding to being unhappy, because we think it's important that we have that one-on-one conversation with them. We take that extremely seriously. Okay, we're now going to move on to a parent testimonial video, and I'm going to hand over to the admin team who will get this going for you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nathan. So our parents are definitely our most powerful ambassador, and we hear so many inspiring stories related to milestones and experience. So today, we'll share these stories with you. Enjoy.
My name is Melisa Rusli. I'm Indonesian. My daughter is in British School Jakarta Year 3, and she's been studying in British School Jakarta since she was 3 years old. The most important aspect of the education is the quality of the teachers, the teaching environment, as well as the facility of the school. Education starts from home, from the family, from the parents, and we want our child to be able to continue what she learns at home to continue to be at school as well. So when we look at the different schools for her in the beginning of the learning years, we wanted to see which school really fits into our parenting style as well. So because of BSJ emphasis in the early years of the education to focus more on the language, on the communications between the teachers and the students, and also between the students, my daughter is actually quite confident to be able to convey her feelings, convey her thinking. My daughter loves gymnastics, and gymnastics is a big activity in BSJ. She went for the training, and also she attended the international competition early in learning years. We are very happy that BSJ is very active in the international competitions in the region. And also the other activity that we found it very useful is swimming activity, which we have embedded into the curriculum of the school. So that it's actually a good basic skill that all the children at the school have to learn. So the teachers at BSJ, they are very nurturing, and also they're warm in their approach with the students. And the most importantly is they are very engaged with the students, not only during the class, but also during the break, and even after school, when the children keep asking them about some questions. I found it very useful for us to be comfortable to continue this education. 3 words. One is a world-class international curriculum. Second is diversity. And the third one is engagement. Yes, for sure. I would recommend to all my friends to send their kids to BSJ, especially if their kids are still in the early childhood level. British School Jakarta, more than a school.
And we also would like to share our BSJ simulation related to our plan for reopening in August 2021.
British School Jakarta Hybrid Learning Simulation.
Hello, my name is David Butcher. I am the principal of the British School Jakarta. On behalf of the school, I'd like to extend our sincere blessings for the holy month of Ramadan. In March 2020, in Indonesia, education had to change. The disruption of the global pandemic meant that we went to online learning. At the school, we felt that we did this successfully, but always it was the importance of coming back. And we worked with ourselves, with the Ministry of Education, in Tangsel and Banten, the Ministry of Health, to establish the BSJ COVID Task Force. We set up our own BSJ COVID Task Force that looked at the possibilities and how to work with the various ministries and the joint decree on what was the best way forward to bring students onto campus in a safe and easy way. The purpose of the task force was to gauge the community, to sense the parents, to sense the students in how we could get the students back onto campus. We took surveys, we followed the guidelines, and we looked at the joint decree that was sent out in June. Since then, the school was privileged to have inspections from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health. And it was very gratifying to know that our systems and our procedures, our protocols were all in place. In recent weeks, we have begun the BSJ simulation program, which is a slow reorientation and reintegration into the students coming back onto our campus so that we can build their trust of a safe and secure school. This has been massively important for our community. We are privileged to be a school in this wonderful Indonesia, and we are also delighted by the fact that we were allowed to begin this simulation program. What you'll see in this video are all the measures and compliances that we have done to ensure that our students can come back safely. It's been an enormous team effort, and we're very proud of the collaborations that we've had with the various ministries in doing this. The British School of Jakarta wants to help. We want to give back. We want to be a school that can be one that can promote the safe and secure reopening of schools, not just for us, but for all the schools in Tangerang Selatan, Banten, and wider Greater Jakarta and the whole of Indonesia. Please enjoy this video. We are very proud and we want to continue on the right way. Thank you so much.
Since the establishment of the British School Jakarta COVID-19 Task Force last year, the school has been working closely with the related government and non-government stakeholders to ensure the health and safety of the school's community, and also to prepare for when the campus is allowed to be reopened. The task force holds regular bi-weekly meetings to discuss and prepare different aspects of preparation, including curriculum, timetable, infrastructure, and resources needed. More importantly, the task force also prepares and implements the standard operating procedures for hybrid learning. The task force is also in continuous discussion with parent representatives, including conducting surveys to assess the parents' willingness to have their children return to campus as and when is possible. Parents are involved in the discussion and decision making. Since the campus closure back in March last year, we have been engaged in a constant dialogue with the government institutions, especially the Ministry of Education and Culture, the Ministry of Health, as well as the local COVID-19 task force. Moreover, upon receiving the information in the joint decree from the Ministry of Education and Culture, Ministry of Religious Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, and Ministry of Health about the face-to-face learning, we have conducted meetings and surveys with the parents through the school committee, obtaining the parents' consent. Then it was agreed that the British School Jakarta is ready to resume hybrid learning activity. We have done all preparations. We have implemented all necessary health protocols, prepared the campus infrastructure and resources, as well as worked closely with the related agencies as instructed. In order to ensure the health and safety of our school community, we have implemented the following procedures. Set up a one-way system on campus. Set maximum room capacity for each room and put markings to ensure safe physical distancing. Set up hand washing stations and hand sanitizing facilities around campus. Installed and placed signage and posters to communicate COVID-19 protocol within the school community. Students will be dropped off at the school entrance. No parents or visitors are allowed to enter the campus. Body temperature will be checked upon entry. If the body temperature exceeds 37.3 degrees Celsius, the student will be taken to an isolation room and wait for parents to pick them up. Students will occupy designated areas for their study bubble only, including classrooms and toilets. Teachers, staff, and students must wear a mask at all times and maintain safe physical distancing. Students must bring their own water bottle and lunch from home. Students must queue to use the toilet and not gather in crowds. There will be regular temperature checks for students during the day. After school, students must wait in the designated area whilst maintaining safe physical distancing. The school area will be cleaned and disinfected regularly during and after school time.
I have two sons in secondary school and I've been really happy with their experiences in the educational programme that they've received. They both really thoroughly enjoyed the hybrid learning experiences that they have had, and the standard of teaching and the lessons that they are being given are academically challenging, but at the same time there is the support given by the teachers in all of the classes. Hybrid learning has given them the opportunity to also learn and work with their friends and connect with other people in a safe environment with thorough teacher support. Of course, I can't wait and they can't wait for the school to reopen.
I've got a son here at the school in year 7. We're really happy that he's back on campus. I think with the simulation program and hybrid learning, it's a great way to start to get the kids back in front of the teachers, back with their classmates. The school's made a lot of changes in terms of the infrastructure and the equipment, and as well as the operations. So we're really pleased to see all that, and I think the school's ready to go and to get the kids back into school and back to something normal. So we're really excited about that.
By fully complying to our protocols and procedures, we believe that we will be able to have a healthy and safe hybrid learning situation. Let's continue to work together as a community.
Now, thank you. So also right now we are heading to mini video presentation. It's a compilation of the amazing works from BSJ dedicated teachers. Parents can access mini video presentation in the link, share in the chat for 15 minutes. And we are still going to open the link until 5 p.m. So please, we will give you a notice when you should return to the presentation. Thank you. Just a quick reminder, we'll come back at 12:10. So, but no worries, we'll keep the link open for you until 5 p.m. It's 12:10 already. So let's carry on for our next presentation. Is about our school campus tour, known for the world-class and sustainable facilities. Our primary student, Finley and Sadana, will share their wonderful experience about our campus. So please check our school tour campus, and here are the video. Here's the video.
Good morning. My name is Finley Awe, and my current year group is year 6. I've been here for a few years, and I've started in kindergarten 1.
My name is Sadana, and my current year group is also year 6, and I've also been studying here for a few years, and I started at year 2.
We will begin the school's aerial view to start the virtual tour.
The campus is blessed with an expansive green space with buildings designed with an Indonesian-inspired architectural style, paying tribute to its Indonesian heritage.
We are also proud to share that we have achieved the gold green shipbuilding certificate status as we fulfill our environment sustainability aspirations.
Students who arrive at school by car will use the main entrance. However, there is an option to take the school bus service, which has its own dedicated entrance and exit gate.
Most mornings I remember walking into the school, being greeted by our head of school, and most of the time the school principal, David Bircher himself. Here we have the sports center. BSJ has great facilities that allow the students to play sports regularly and at high and competitive level. Newly built in early 2017, our sports center contains courts for basketball, volleyball, and badminton. The sports center also features a gym room, and the second floor a dance studio and a cycling studio. As you can see, we also have an indoor rock climbing gym.
I remember I also sometimes play badminton. You can also play tennis here, I think. You can also play basketball and do lots of other PE activities.
Next is the tennis court. Tennis is one of the focus sports here at BSJ. We have the benefit of 5 all-weather tennis courts being committed to supporting students in any area of excellence. BSJ also have a dedicated tennis coach to provide quality coaching for students.
So there are sometimes competitions held in this tennis court area, and also you can learn how to play tennis here too.
BSJ Olympic-sized swimming pool allows us to run comprehensive swimming lessons for students and is ideal for competitions. Just like tennis, our swimming program is available for students looking for something competitive or for leisure. Training is available for both morning and afternoon sessions and can accommodate at all swimming levels. Our school has helped to nurture many young swimmers competing at both national and international levels, including representing Indonesia, and their accomplishments and are held with high value here at BSJ.
BSJ World Theater is the home for our lively and flourishing art performances. Our theater complex includes 2 stages named Raffles and Wallace, a spacious dance studio, and additional rooms for rehearsal and makeup. The stage you're currently looking at is the Raffles stage, which has a capacity of 750. Productions, plays, and concerts are held all across the school, from the youngest year group to senior year students. Here, we also hold many of our assemblies by year group or the whole school.
BSJ offers an extensive music curriculum taught by music specialist teachers. The curriculum is designed to stimulate and educate our students whilst developing communications, independence, creative, and excellence.
Our musical facilities also feature a choir room, recording studio, as well as computer room, specifically designed for producing music.
As you can see, we have modern and open plan kindergarten, which is designed with the under fives in mind. This is a very flexible space, meaning that we can adjust and customize the classroom setting, and based on the various themes used by the students and teachers. We also have a kitchen space where children can learn simple baking. Our students love this space a lot.
Just outside, there's a splash and play water play area, sandpit, flower beds, bike tracks, and playground area.
There's also, since it's so spacious, before there was the place where we can do like gymnastics or stuff like that. And outside where their playground is, they actually have some ropes dangling from the roof, which students will be able to go onto and see if they're brave enough to even go up there.
We have dedicated units for each year group, which are self-sufficient, as well as providing flexible use depending on the units of study being followed at that time. They have a central pod for breakout activities, with all classrooms having direct access to the central area. In this recently renovated space, we can also maintain the study bubbling for each year group, as well we have this designated pods for each year group.
Other proper facilities include a media room with green screen technology and expansive outdoor playground area, as well as sports facilities.
Our two-story primary library is designed with a lively and welcome ambience to enhance flexible modes of learning and enrich the school experience through the positive experiences of books, computers, and other media. With a collection of more than 15,000 books in printed, audiobooks, and ebooks format ranging from fiction to science, BSJ prepares its students to be enthusiastic readers during their lifelong learning journey. From time to time, we also have some fun reading events at our primary library, including real-life authors who visit to work with us.
We now have a new installed net area playground, and it used to be an area where some students actually play. Now it's a climbing area. There's also the AstroTurf, which is another football area, and there's a playground as well. It's installed a few years ago.
And there's a blue court where it's a big court, which is blue, and where students can play and run around and do whatever they want in there.
And also they have basketball as well. There's also some chess areas, and the chess areas are located at year 5 and year 3 areas, and year 6 and year 5 areas, and year 3 and 4 areas.
They also there's a trim trail which is installed by the buddies, I think. And the trim trail is really just this long trail where you can do walk, climb, and do lots of stuff till you get to the end.
Exactly. Thank you for listening to BSJ students. BSJ students.
Okay. Right. So we're just going to talk to you a little bit now about the online learning. That has been really our main mode of delivery for our learning over the past 15 months or so, although we have been really pleased that we've been able to start getting children back into school over the last few months. Our online learning was really always set up to be as close to the experience we have for our students on campus as possible. So we've tried to mirror the day, the timetable. We have all our subjects are taught. The specialist lessons are provided by our specialist teachers. And we committed early on to real quality live learning, so the teachers were available to deliver those lessons. just like they would in a normal lesson. So they'd have an input at the beginning, they'd then support groups or all the class, and with plenaries at the end. So we really tried to mirror exactly what was happening with the learning there. We used we had a steep learning curve in terms of developing our knowledge of Google Suite, and we used Google Meet for ours. You can see on the left here, that's a page that each class would have as kind of like a portal to go in. There's a link to the virtual classroom, which is the main space that the teacher would teach from, but we also had what we call breakout pods, named after our pods in school that we have, the big shared areas we have, where the teachers might send children to work with a teaching assistant in small groups, or they might support, or even one-to-one work would go on. In some classes, we had multiple collaborative spaces where the children, particularly older ones, could work together independently as well and then feed back. We had IT support to help. We have a very good IT team that's helped us. And at the bottom of the page, you can see there's a link to all of our different specialists that the teachers would deliver for PE, for music, for drama, and so on for the different year groups. We always tried to also focus on trying to keep things practical and active. We know that when they're online on the screen all the time, it's difficult, but we would send home regularly materials and resources that children could then use at home to do practical activities and project-based learning that was supported by the teacher live from in school. We also developed not just spaces for academic, but also for social. We know that the children needed to also have that chance to interact with their peers. And so we had social spaces monitored for safety, but social spaces for the children to go to and be able to interact with other children. And we kept a strong focus on well-being, going through monitoring the children and focusing on a positive education, so that we're supporting not just the academics, but the pastoral and the well-being of the children as well. So our online learning has been one of our main focuses, and the feedback from that has been very positive all the way through, and we've adapted and improved as we've gone along.
A very good day to all members of the BSJ community. I do hope that you are well and safe wherever you are in the world as we move through these unprecedented times. It's been well over 8 months since we had to close our campus in March 2020. Throughout these months, our community has proven to be resilient, positive and forward focused. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented us with many challenges, but by working together as a community, listening to your feedback, adapting and refining our programmes, there have been numerous opportunities to learn, to develop and to grow as individuals and as a community. It is safe to say that we've not just coped with the switch to online learning, but even better, we have managed to thrive with our online learning programmes, thanks to our resilient students, collaborative parents, agile teachers and supportive back office staff.
We understand that online learning has presented difficulties, but in compliance with government regulations and following best international practices, we put the health and safety of our community first. Now, we hope you enjoy your online learning sessions and make the most of the engaging opportunities that our teachers provide.
At the beginning of the pandemic, we made a swift transition from face-to-face to online learning. Our unique model established clear routines and maintained live teaching in a digital format across the curriculum. In August, we further expanded online provision, offering a full academic timetable in preparation for the resumption of campus learning. The success of our students would not have been possible without the cooperation, determination and compassion of all members of our community.
My name is Tilly and I'm from Year 5. I've been learning online since August and I like a lot of art things and stories. I like art activities as like this, and I also like drama and music.
Hello, my name is Matthew. I am in Year 2. In IPC, I've been learning stories in different countries.
I like math lessons because I like being challenged.
Successful online learning relies on a close collaboration between home and school. We have maintained our regular meetings and workshops, ensuring the engagement of all members of our community. parents have had such a vital role to play during this difficult time, and the school cannot thank them enough for all of their support and positivity for the students and staff. We have truly been in this together.
I think that despite the challenges and the circumstances that we're in at the moment, BSJ have done a fantastic job. The teachers have been incredible, the children are happy, the lessons are fun, and they're definitely learning lots, even though they're all based at home.
Every primary student is loaned an iPad by the school, and this, along with our comprehensive and robust learning systems, have enabled the teachers to continue to provide powerful learning experiences. Our Innovation and Learning Technology team have been working closely with our teachers to ensure that our students at British School Jakarta continue to receive the best learning experiences possible.
We miss you. We hope to see you soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your online learning experience.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. And I think we've answered most questions in the chat bar, but I think it's worth just saying a few bits now while everyone's still with us. Unfortunately, the physical campus tour that was scheduled for next Saturday has now been postponed due to the campus closure next week, and we will update parents when we are available to have the next one. Several questions about August. At the moment, we have full plans to reopen face-to-face. But obviously we're also prepared for blended learning, where we may have some face-to-face on campus and some online. And we're also fully prepared for full online learning. It will depend on the circumstances and the directives that are shared with us by the various departments in government that oversee our school. We would also like to assure parents that if you cannot get here for August, we are offering online learning even if the students are on campus. There will be a facility for you and your children to access the classes and to meet the teachers. And obviously that will depend, how it looks will depend on the numbers of students, but there will be that online option for those students who are overseas, waiting for visas, or they're in Jakarta and as a family, you don't feel quite ready for your child to attend campus. We're very flexible. I mean, obviously we love the children to come onto campus, but we realise that may be a step too far for some parents at this moment in time. In terms of admissions, I know some parents have asked the question, can we start other than August? Yes, we take open enrolment throughout the year, but that will depend on space. And I would advise you to apply quickly if you are thinking of the space, because we have limited openings in many year groups at the moment. I think as we've seen face-to-face learning develop in the last couple of months, there's been more confidence in the community, and we have many more registrations. So please do apply early to guarantee that space. But normally, if we have got a space, we will accept a child mid-term or mid-year. And we are prepared for that. We're used to it happening. And so we still run an induction program for those students. Now, let me just check the chat bar. Just want to see if there's any more questions coming in. We had a few about assessments, which I hope I've answered. We don't over-assess. I think it's important to realise that we assess as and when needed. And the majority of our assessment is formative, which is where the teacher's working with the child, and it could be children talking to the staff member, explain how they've done something, the concepts they've used, so we can assess their understanding. And we find that enables us to respond far more quickly to that child than waiting for a test that may not show the full information. Obviously, we do have the external assessments that I mentioned earlier, and that's very important for us and for you to know where your child is at in terms of the age-related expectations, and for us as a school to know what we are doing as students, and that we are benchmarking against similar schools worldwide. But we don't overemphasize that. And as I put in the chat bar, for the assessments in primary, We prefer them not to be coached because we want to see what a child can do on their own. So we know how we can help them and how we can develop them. Now, I just want to check the questionnaire that was presented before school. In terms, there was a query from obviously a parent based in UK. What do we need from that school if you wish to apply for us? We do ask for the latest school reports, so we can have a look at your child's report and see how best to support them and extend them and place them. And then the admissions team would give you further information about other documents. And yes, it is possible to apply and join us mid-year. Let's have a look at others. Entrance examinations. No, we're not running entrance examinations. We're basing it on reports. We have a sufficiently skilled staff and support staff that we can offer that support to students. But if they do have a need, an individual need, it's best that you talk to us because we want to make sure we can offer them what they need before they come to us. I think we've covered curriculum. And just to assure you that we've been open for the last couple of months. We, at the moment, staff are required to have antigen tests and students every 2 weeks, but we also have the facility to go weekly on that as well, and it will depend on what guidance we're given. Most staff nearly all staff have been vaccinated with the first shot. Many have had the second vaccination, and the rest of our staff are scheduled to have it in the next 2 weeks. And it's one of our requirements, and I believe a government requirement, all staff should be fully vaccinated before the resumption of any face-to-face learning in August. So we're very happy to comply with that and we'll ensure that we do. Joy, the vaccination program's going well. As I say, we will all be fully vaccinated. Most of us are now, which is very reassuring. And at the moment, there's no requirement for students to be vaccinated, which follows guidelines in many countries for the students. We are planning to have extracurricular activities. Some will have to be modified, but if we have face-to-face learning, obviously, as soon as we're allowed to, we want to get back to the full curriculum. For the face-to-face we've had on campus for the last couple of months, we haven't been able to run physical PE lessons or swimming. We were hoping to introduce that from next week, but obviously with the campus closure, that's not possible. So it might be gradually phased in. It will depend on the circumstances in Jakarta, in Indonesia, and any regulations that are updated to us. Children assigned to classes. We have mixed ability classes in each year group, 4 or 5 classes. And what we ensure is that each class has a balance of boy, girl, ethnicity, religion. So it's important that they mix with a variety of different children and feel comfortable in that environment. Yes, there are several, 4 or 5 classes generally per year group. And I can see that Ian's just answered that, sorry, but just in case anyone else was wondering. Now, just going to check, no more questions have come in there. And I believe on the schedule, said we were due to finish at 12:20. So apologies for that, we've overrun, but hopefully we've answered your questions. We'll wait a few more minutes, but then we will have to log off because I know the admin team need to get ready for the secondary presentation. So I hope that some of you are going to that as well. We've really enjoyed our 2 this morning, our kindergarten one specifically for the kindergarten and now the primary one. And we'd like to thank you very much for joining in with us, for asking the questions. We love to show our school off to parents and students. It's a fantastic campus. And with the developments we've done the last couple of years, full renovation of all of our classrooms from year 1 to year 6, it's been brilliant. We just want the students back full time so they can really enjoy the experience there. Yes, we have full protocols if someone becomes positive. And I think, yeah, we have to acknowledge that we cannot 100% say that someone will not get COVID. We'd be silly to say that, but we have full protocols in place if an adult is tested positive or a student, and we have used that protocol in the last couple of months. So that's helped us to refine the process, and we think it works well. We're very transparent and honest with parents. If there is a case, we will let you know, and we will tell you what we're doing about it and what you need to know to support your children. Obviously, as we move forward, we hope the vaccination programme will cut down any transmissions within our country in Jakarta and also worldwide. It's not just one country achieving that because it will not work. It's got to be a lot of countries all countries having the vaccination programme. We don't close the whole campus if someone's positive. It depends on that person. We operate bubbles. So each year group is a bubble within the school. So the year 3 team, the teachers, the specialist teachers that work with that year group do not work with any other students. So if it's contained and they have their own bathrooms, they have their own eating areas, so we can keep it compact and confined to one year group. But obviously it depends on the case and it depends where they have it from. I mean, all of the cases we've experienced so far have been cases from the community coming into school. We've had no person-to-person transmission in school at the moment. But, you know, we are prepared for that if it does happen. Okay, now I know that Fira's put on the website and the other information for you. As always, if you have any other questions, please feel free to drop a line to admissions or one of us directly, and we will get back to you. Anything at all. Okay, so I think I'm going to sign off now, and I'm going to pass back to Fira, who would like to finish. But once again, thank you for your attendance. We've really enjoyed this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Nathan, for your support. So parents, this is how you can reach admissions officer. And we also realize this is a WhatsApp nation. So if you feel need more quicker response, please do reach us on our WhatsApp, primary, secondary, or me, the manager. And also, if you would like to wish for a school tour, the virtual one, please visit the bsj-admission.appointlet.com. It's also on our website. And don't forget also to subscribe for our social media. We have shared in the chat box before. Yes.
And Fira, can we just mention that the videos are available till 5 o'clock today?
Yes, correct. We already informed.
Right.
The video will be available until 5 p.m.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you also, Nathan, Mr. Nathan, and your team for the hard work.
And parents and students, if you're watching, do have a lovely weekend. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming for our virtual open house. And we hope to see you again for next academic year. Stay well and healthy.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.